Yeah, you just sit there. Hi and welcome to class today. So today we are going to do more about the external rotation of your hips and your shoulders, and we will do the familiar balancing poses again and side plank. So we're going to make the shape of poses like warrior 3 and half moon and hand to big toes into side plank, and you will always have to pay attention to externally rotating your hips and your shoulders. So let's start on the floor and in a cross-leg position. And take a deep inhale, raise your spine up higher. As you exhale, close your eyes. So let's bring your shoulders back and down and feel your elbows coming closer toward you. By doing so, you are already doing external rotation on your shoulders. Stay calm in your face as you inhale deeply and exhale completely. Use this time at the beginning of the class to calm down. Slow down with your breath and try to stay calm in your mind. And start turning the focus inside your body. You can observe your breath and feel how your body is moving as you inhale and exhale. And make the inhale and the exhale very long and slow. And try to maintain this breath. Not only now in this sitting pose, but later. In other poses too. Let 3 breaths pass by. Then you can slowly open your eyes. So in this class we're going to not use block, but you have one block with you in case you need them, especially in half moon pose and warrior 3. Now let's use your hand and give yourself a hug so that you feel the bones behind you. This is the shoulder blades. Now you identify them. Let's release your hands and bring your hands to the side. Let's bring your shoulder blade up to your ears. So now you have very short neck. And bring your shoulder blades down away from your ears. So this will be what we try to do in all the yoga poses we do today. So get this feeling of your neck being long. Then one more time, bring your shoulder blades to your ears again. So this is what makes your neck shorten in the muscles and create neck pain and nerve pain later. So we always try to avoid it and bring your shoulder blades low. So we will be like this and get this feeling and feel it stretching a little bit in your neck and it's contracting at your lower back and your middle back. And now keep your shoulder blade here. Let's bring your arms in front of you So this action is called shoulder flexion. When you bring your arms in front of you, it comes from your shoulder. Try to keep your hands pointing up, and then let's open your fingertips out. So now you are turning the biceps and the elbow crease up to the ceiling. This action is called external rotation. And you will see that by turning it out, you are bringing your shoulders even lower and further away from your ears. So let's bring your hands back. Keep your hands pushing forward. Don't change anything in your hands. Keep pointing your fingers up, but let's turn your biceps and your elbow crease up. So this will be external rotation. Bring your shoulder blades down. Keep your neck long. And then let's bring your hands down to the floor and go to a table pose. So check in with your hands and your arms. At first in table pose, let's move your shoulder blade up toward your ears. So now you are rounded and you are very short in your neck. Now let's move your shoulder blades back and feel how they are sliding on your back. Check in with your hands. Make sure that you are pressing all your hands down to the floor, especially in the root of your thumbs and index finger. And then turn your elbow crease and your biceps out. So now you can feel that it's a bit weird on your biceps. It feels like it's stretching. Because now we are taking the job in this pose to the muscles behind your arms. So from here, let's move your knees back a little bit into a half plank pose. Keep pushing your hands down to the floor, especially the inside of your wrist. Move your shoulder forward and bend your elbows. So now your elbows will be touching you in the side of your body. And let's lay down to the floor. Keep hugging your elbows back and move your shoulder blades away from your ears. Inhale, cobra pose. And then exhale, let's go back to the floor. Tuck your toes down to the floor. Squeeze your elbows in and push up into plank. Knees up, plank pose. And downward facing dog. So in down dog, we still try to keep your arms like that, like externally rotated. Turn your elbow crease out. And bring your shoulder blades away from your ears so you have long neck. Think of how your spine wants to go up, but your head wants to go down. And then let's do the Vinyasa flow for one more time. So inhale, plank pose. And this time let's go through Chaturanga. Be very tight in your whole body. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Bring your shoulder blades down all the time. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's stay here for a while in down dog. And see if you can still externally rotate your shoulders. So turning your biceps out through your ears and up. And push your hips up high and bring your shoulder blades toward your hips. So now that you're upside down, you'll feel your shoulder blades coming higher. And then let's bend your knees and raise your heels up. Step your feet forward toward your hands. Halfway up as you inhale. And exhale, forward bend. So now anytime you put your hands down to the floor, externally rotate your shoulders. And from here, let's slowly stand up. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. Let's do the sun salutation. So we're going to start with chair pose, and we're going to externally rotate your hips in chair. Inhale, bring your arms over your head and sit down into chair. Now look at your toes on the floor. They're still pointing forward, but open your knees out a little bit. So this action will be externally rotate in your hips. What you see is your toes and your knees, but the action is really come from your hips. You can feel how your thigh bone pointing out. Take one more inhale and exhale, sit a bit lower. So when you do this action, press the root of your big toes down to the floor. And then next time you exhale, belly down to your thighs in forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, forward bend. Step your right foot back, long step. High lunge pose. So bring your arms up. Now in high lunge, we do the same action with your front leg. Open your front knee out. And close your back hip in. Inhale here in high lunge and exhale, hands holding at your hips. Stand up and straighten your front leg. Bring your back foot down to the floor. Bend your front knee very tiny and then turn it out. Yes, and still root the big toe down to the floor, the root of your big toe. Inhale, do a back bend with your spine, and exhale, bring your belly low. So pyramid pose here. Okay, and in pyramid pose, let's use your left hand and hold your left big toe. So this will be kind of a hand to big toe pose that we will do later. Take one more breath as you inhale, raise your head more further forward, and exhale, let's release your hand. Put your hands down to the floor. As soon as you put your hands to the floor, turn your elbow crease out. Step your front foot back into plank pose. And let's try side plank, so bring your knees down to the floor. Keep your right knee and your right hand on the floor. At first, bring your right shoulder on the top of your right wrist, and then turn your right elbow crease out. So let's open your body to the left side, step your left foot to the same line, and bring your left hand up in side plank with your knee still on the floor. Now it's a good time for you to check your elbows. So you can see that if I straighten my elbow to the maximum level, it will be more than 180 degrees. So I have a slight hyperextension here. I'm going to bend my elbows just a little bit. Check in with your arms and make your arms straight. That means 180 degrees. One straight line from your wrist to your shoulder. And then let's change side. So make sure your hands always pressing down to the floor. Bring your left hand and left knee down to the floor and open your right foot out. Turn your left elbow crease out and left biceps out. And do this while you always push the root of your thumbs and index finger down to the floor. And check in with your arms again. So again, this is hyperextension. You can see that my arm is over 180 degrees. I'm going to bend my elbow slightly to make my arm straight. And then let's bring the hands back. Go to plank pose with external rotation. So turning your elbow crease and your biceps out. Move your shoulder forward, chaturanga, exhale, and inhale, cobra pose or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your right leg up. And exhale, step your right foot forward to your right hand and high lunge on this side. So inhale, bring your arms up into high lunge. Now let's bend your front knee more and opening your front knee a bit out. Then let's holding your hand on your hips and step your back foot a bit closer. Bring your body forward, get ready to warrior 3. But at first look at your knee, pointing right straight forward and your toes. So what happened here is that in warrior 3, we often collapse the knees in. But now you try to turn your knees out so you avoid that to happen. If you need the block, you can use it. Otherwise, hands in front of your heart or holding at your hips. So once you can make your front thighs turning out and out in external rotation, you feel more and more on your hips that you have to use the glute muscle. And it's harder to keep balance. And then let's step your foot down to the floor. And then stand with your right leg. Bring your left leg up. Hold your left hand into your left big toe, just like the pose we did on pyramid pose. You can bring the other arm over your head to keep balance. And slowly bring your heel in front of you in the hand to big toes front. So stand up straight. You don't have to extend your leg that you are holding completely, but try to make the standing leg. And now notice the standing leg will tend to collapse in. Try to turn your knee out a little bit. See if you can make that subtle action to happen. Okay, very good. And then release your leg. Bring your foot down to the floor. Inhale, give yourself a nice stretch. And exhale, take a break. So you can keep your arms to the side or in front of your heart and close your eyes. Calm down with your breath. Take a few more breaths to slow down. Then get ready to the other side of the sun salutation round. Once you're ready, we start with chair pose. So bring your arms over your head as you inhale and exhale, chair. Make sure you can still see your toes. Bring your hips back a lot and open your knees out slightly. So you activate the glute muscles in this chair pose. If we don't do so, you may feel very tired in the front of your thighs after a while. But now the big muscles, your glute maximus, is doing the job with you. And then when you exhale, belly to your thighs, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, forward bend. Then let's step your left foot back, this time a long step into high lunge pose. So before you raise yourself up, check your front leg already, turning your front hip out. So what you see is that your knee will go slightly out and curl your back hip in. So now your hip is square. And then let's hold your hands into your hips. Straighten your front leg, keep your hip facing the front and step your back foot forward. Pyramid pose, let's bend your front knee slightly and turn it out while you're still pushing the roots of your big toes down to the floor. And bring your belly lower so that your spine will be parallel to the floor. Now let's use your right hand and hook into your right big toe. So this will almost be what we will do next in hand to big toes pose. Let's take one more deep inhale, pull your hip back and bring your head more forward so you feel the stretch. And exhale, let's bend your knee, put your hands on the floor. And the moment you put your hands on the floor, external rotate your shoulder. Step your front foot back in plank. Let's do chaturanga, so move your shoulder forward and bend your elbows. Keep your hands flat on the floor, cobra pose or up dog, and then downward facing dog. So now let's bring your knees down to the floor. We will try the side plank pose again. So this time let's try the full side plank. So let's go to plank first. Put your right hand at the middle line of your mat. And turn your right biceps and elbow crease out first. Push the inside of your right wrist down and the root of your thumb and index finger down. And then point your toes to the left side. When you are ready, you can lift your left hand off the floor. If you don't feel sure, you can keep your left hand here on the floor. And always turning your right shoulders out. Bring your shoulder blades away from your ear. Make sure you have long neck here. And make sure that your right hand is flat on the floor. And then let's change side. So if you feel tired, you can bring your knees down to the floor. And then when you're ready, your left hand will be at the middle line. Make sure that your foundation is very stable by turning your elbow crease out. And then point your toes to the right side. It's fine if both of your feet are on the floor right now. And feel how you're pressing to the inside of your wrist, the root of your thumb and your index finger down to the floor. Always turning your biceps out and bring your shoulder blade away from your ear. So you still have long neck. And then hands down to the floor. Let's go, bring your knees down to the floor and put the top of your right hand. Squeeze and release. So do some relaxing movement to your hands. Try to make very tight fist and then release. And then the other hand too. Then we will go to downward facing dog. So it's very hard in down dog, but even in down dog, try to make the external rotation action happen in your shoulders. Stay for a while in down dog and bring your hips up higher as you inhale. And then let's lift your left leg up, inhale. And exhale, bend your left knee and step your left foot forward. High lunge pose. Stand up and bring your arms over your head. So now let's open your front thigh bone out into an external rotation and close your back hip in. Now you can hold your hands onto your hip and start leaning yourself forward. Step your back foot closer and closer. So what you see is that your knee and your toes will always be pointing forward. Don't let your knee be collapsed in. Turning your leg out and out in Warrior 3. So you can change how you put your hands. You can hold the block too and look at some point that is not moving and focus a lot on turning your thigh bone out while you're still pressing your big toe down to the floor. Okay, and then you can step your back foot down to the floor, We pick it up right away into the hand to big toes. So bring your right leg in front of you and use your right hand to hold the big toe. You can bring the other arm over your head to keep balance. And keep standing straight with your left leg all the time, your right leg. Let's discover how much you can straighten it now. So when you are here, notice how you can externally rotate your standing leg. It's a very subtle action. You will feel your buttock work more and more. And you're working less at your ankle and your knees. Okay, and then slowly get out of this pose. Shake your legs a little bit. Bring your arms over your head as you inhale. And exhale, hands in front of your head or to the side of your body. And stay for a while in mountain pose. So now let's do the hand to big toes again, and we're going to do to the front first and then we open to the side. Let's stand with your left leg and bring your right leg up. You can use your arm as something to keep you balanced by opening your arms over your head and bring your big toes, hold your hand in your big toe. So let's bring it in front of you just like we did before. You don't have to straighten your knee fully, just try to keep balance and then slowly open your leg out. And you can bring your arm out to the side too, to keep balance. Yeah, very good. So keep standing straight and then slowly get out of this pose. Step your right foot back, a long step into high lunge. And inhale, bring your arms up in high lunge. Let's do warrior 3 for one more time. So hands at your hips and trying to turn your knees out. Go forward and go up into warrior 3. Now let's turn yourself to the side into half moon so you can bring the block and hold your left hand to the block. Slowly turn. So the only thing that will not turn is your standing leg. Look at your toes on the floor, make sure they're still pointing forward, and your knees too. Actually, try to turn your knees to the other direction, and then you can bring your arm up to the ceiling. So your body is like kind of a side plank pose. Okay, and then let's bend your front knee and step back into warrior 2 pose. Bring your arms out, and then open your knee out, your front knee out. So you start feeling it's activating your left glute muscles. See if you can do the same on your back leg. So turn your back thigh bone out. It's very hard when your leg is straight. But if you bend your knee slightly, you'll feel the action more. It feels like you're standing more on the outside of your leg. And try not to point your butt back. Keep standing up straight. Inhale here. And exhale, turn more and more out. Then let's straighten your front knee, but keep turning it out. So you don't have to lock your knee. Keep bending slightly. Triangle pose. Bring your hips back and then go forward. Let's find your hand into your big toes. So this is like hand to big toe standing. Let's stay here and feel the stretch at the side of your body. Inhale. And then exhale. Let's bring both hands down to the floor and change your hips. So now your hips is facing the front of your mat. Bring your back heels up. Put your hands on the floor. And let's step into plank pose. And then side plank. So put your right hand at the middle line of your mat into side plank. Point your toes to the side. Okay. And now we're going to try to stack your feet on each other. So stack your feet on each other. Yes, very good. Press your wrist down to the floor, the inside of your wrist, and turning your biceps and your elbow crease out. You can look into your own arms to see that happen. And then let's change side. So put your left hand at the middle line of your mat. Push the inside of your wrist, the roots of your thumb and index finger down. Turn your biceps and elbow crease out. And now do side plank with your feet stacking on each other and pointing your toes. So now if you look at your toe, they will look back to you. They're pointing straight to you. Okay, and then hands down to the floor. Plank pose. Chaturanga, squeezing your elbows in. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay for a while here in down dog and check in with your hands all the time. We often lift the inside of your wrist, the inside of your hands. But let's press them down to the floor so your wrist will be stable, joint. Then let's bring your right leg up. And this time open your hip, but don't change anything in your shoulder. So as you open in your hip to the right side, look at your left knee, bend your left knee slightly and open it out. So externally rotate in your left hip. And then let's bend your right knee and step a long step forward. And bring your back foot down to the floor into Warrior 2. And stand up in Warrior 2. So find the external rotation in your hips. Your front knee will be opening out. So you start feeling your right glute squeezing. And try to do the same with your back leg. So it feels very hard if you strengthening your knee. But if you bend your knee just a little bit. And think of turning your thigh bone out all the time. Inhale here. And exhale reverse warrior. So leaning yourself back. Inhale Warrior 2. And exhale half moon pose. Here you can find the block again. Put it right in front of your right toes. Bring your back leg closer and look at your right toes and knee. Make sure they always point forward. Slowly lift your back leg up. So it feels like side plank a little bit here. That you will be straight. So in this pose it's much easier without the external rotation in your right leg. But we want to train your glute muscle here so that your hip will be stable. And then let's slowly turn yourself into Warrior 3 and step your foot down to the floor and stand up. So inhale, bring your arms over your head and exhale, hands in front of your heart. So again, keep your eyes closed here and stay for a while in the mountain pose. And when you are ready, we're going to do hand to big toes on your left leg. Let's bring your right arm over your head to keep balance. Stand on your right leg and then hold your left big toe. We're going to do the front variation. See how much you can straighten your leg to the front. Pull your left hip back so that your hip will be square. It's like nothing changed in your standing pose, but only your leg. And then slowly open to the left side. You can point your hand to the right side too. So you're in a hand to big toe pose. And then let's bend your knee and step your foot back a long step into high lunge pose. Opening your front knee out, bring your arms over your head in high lunge. And then Warrior 3, so you can hold your hands at your hips or hands in front of your heart. Any arm variation here, but feel how your hip is square and your leg is still pointing out slightly. So it's like you're pulling your right hip back all the time and start feeling the right glute being activated. Now let's turn yourself to the side, to the left side. You can hold your right hand on the block and bring your hand to point up. So look at your toes and your knee on the floor. Make sure they're always pointing forward. Don't let your knee collapse in. You want to point your knee out and you activate your right glute. Then let's bend your knee and slowly step back into Warrior 2. And bring your arms out. So let's open your leg the same way. Look at your front knee, open it out. And bend your back knee very slightly and try to turn your thigh bone out. So think of how you're squeezing your buttock to open your legs, like you're opening door. And then let's straighten your front knee. Ursäkta? Ursäkta? Hej.
Hejsan, jag skulle bara titta så att det var folk här idag.
Ja.
Bra, tack.
Ja, tack. Okay. Luckily I booked the room. I still have the room booking. Okay. Okay, so slowly straighten your front knee into triangle, but don't lock your knee. So keep your knee still very slightly bent so that you can control the external rotation. Push your hips back and reach your hand toward your toes and hook your hand into your toes. So if you cannot reach to your toes, let's just bend your knee. Triangle pose. Think of how your head try to go forward, but your hip try to go back. So you're stretching the left side of your body. And then let's slowly change your hips. So now your hands will be both on the floor and you lift your back heel up into kind of pyramid pose. Put your hands down to the floor. External rotation already in your arms and step your front foot back into plank pose. So if you feel tired, you can put your knees down to the floor and take a break. Or we go to side plank, right hand to the middle line of your mat. So make sure that you are externally rotating your right shoulder and then you're turning to the left side. Okay, and now there's a challenge for you. See if you can lift your left leg up, bend your left knee and then hold into your left big toe. Yeah, it's very hard. Try to push your hip a bit forward so you will not fall back. Yes. Okay, you can do the tree pose. If you can hold your big toe. I'm going to lift my big toe up like this. Okay, so you can, next time you can just lift your top leg up. Let's change side. Put your left hand and turn your left arm out. So two options here. You can lift your top leg up like this, or you can bend your knee, find your big toe, and bring your leg up. So look at something that is not moving on the floor to keep you focused. And once you find the pose, you can stay in, turn your arms out all the time, and then go back. So let's go down to the floor and stay for a while in child's pose, turning your hands up. You can bend your elbows so that you can touch your own shoulders. And here you can do some nice relaxing things with your wrist. Squeeze your hands, move your fingers. And then let's find a way to downward facing dog. So as soon as you bring your hands down to the floor, find the external rotation and make it a habit. Stay for a while in down dog, bring your hips up higher. And then let's bring your left leg up. So open your hip to the left side, but try to keep your shoulder exactly the same like in down dog. And look at your right knee and turn your right knee out. So your hip try to open to the left, but your knee try to turn out. And that encourages a deeper hip opening here. Bend your left knee and step your left foot forward. Opening your back foot down to the floor so that you can stand up in Warrior 2. And as soon as you go to Warrior 2, let's open your hips out, both of them, front and back. So you feel like you are squeezing your buttock and you're contracting the glute muscles a lot. Inhale, and when you exhale, reverse warrior, side bending without changing anything in your legs. Inhale, Warrior 2. And exhale, find the blocks into half moon pose. So this pose is harder when you try to keep your toes and your knee pointing forward. It's very easy if you point your toes in, but we don't want to do the easy thing here. So look at anything on the floor or on the side that keep you balanced and feel your left glute working. So let's slowly turn into Warrior 3 and then step your foot down to the floor and stand up. So inhale, bring your arms up. And exhale, hands to the front of your heart in Tadasana. And close your eyes and take a small break here. So you may feel that one side of your glute will be easier to activate than the other side. And that's very normal because we are not symmetrical. So to me, my right side is much easier to feel that the glute is working than my left side. So next time you do it, you can continue listening to your body and see the difference between your sides. Because some of us may have a hard time reaching your toes in the hand to big toes, you can use a strap. And now Molly's going to use a strap in the side plank in hand to big toes variation. So let's stand at the front of your mat again. And now we're going to try hand to big toes, all three variations. So we're going to bring your right leg out and then in front of you, and then change hand into a twist. So let's try those variations. Bring your right leg to the outside and hold into your big toes or hold the strap with you. You can use your arms to guide you and keep you balanced and open your legs. So see how much you can straighten your leg here. And then bring your leg in front of you into the front variation. And once you're here, let's change hands. So hold your foot or the strap with your left hand and opening your right arm behind you. Keep balance all the time. And if you fall out of the pose, just come back to the pose. And then let's step your right foot back, long step, and inhale, high lunge pose. Bring your arms over your head. And exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. You can find the block with you and hold the block on your right side. Now let's step your back foot closer and closer and go to Warrior 3 at first. So holding the block on your right side, Warrior 3. And turn your arms and your chest to the left side in twisted half moon pose. And when you do this, always check in with your legs or that is standing on the floor. Open that knee out slightly and press the root of your big toes down to the floor. And then let's slowly bend your knee and step back. So put your hands down to the floor and step your front foot back into plank pose. Let's do side plank again. So put your right hand at the middle line of your mat and first stacking your feet on each other. See if you can do this with the attention of external rotation. And now we're going to do the hand to big toe front. So lift your left leg up, bring your left knee to your chest. Maybe you can find your foot or you can hold underneath your knee and bring it to the front. Yes, very good. Okay, try to keep your hips off all the time. And then slowly come back into plank. If you feel tired, rest a little bit before you change side. So left hand on the middle line of your mat and turning to the right side. We're going to pick your right knee up, the top knee, and bring it to your chest. Hand to big toe, or you can hold underneath your knee and slowly straighten the leg in front of you. So I'll be here. Whew. And then slowly get out of this pose, plank. So if you feel tired, you can just rest on the floor or go through chaturanga and up dog as you inhale. Cobra is fine too. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now stand in down dog and make your legs so strong that you have very little pressure on your hands. But still pressing the inside of your wrist, including the root of your thumbs and your index fingers down to the floor. Then let's inhale, bring your right leg up. And exhale, right knee forward and step your right foot to your right hand. We're going to do a twisted triangle, so you can hold the block with your left hand or keep your left fingertips on the floor. Slowly straighten your front knee as you do in pyramid pose. And turning your front knee out and out. So turning your chest toward the right side and bring your right arm over your head. And twisted triangle. And then let's bring your hands back to the floor and step your back foot forward in forward bend. Inhale halfway up and exhale forward bend. Now you can step your feet on your hands and move your toes so that you're giving your hands some massage. Try to step your toes very close to your wrist. Then you can slowly get out of this pose and stand up with your arms over your head as you inhale. And exhale, Tadasana, the mountain pose. Cool down and keep your eyes closed. And wait for your heartbeat to slow down and your body to calm down. And then we're going to do hand to big toes, all three variations on your left side. Let's bring your left leg up and open it out already. We're going to do out, front and twist. So you can use a strap or you can hold your left big toes and use your arms to keep balance. So first, let's open your leg to the side. You just can estimate how much you can extend your knees now, and then bring it to the front. And once you are settled in the front, change hand so that you can do the twist. Turn your chest toward the left side and open your body to the left side. Okay, very good. And then let's slowly step your foot back, long step into high lunge pose. Inhale, bring your arms up in high lunge. And exhale, bring both hands down toward the floor. Find the block and hold it with your left hand. Move the block forward and step your back foot closer and closer until you can stand only on your front leg. Bend your front knee slightly and open your front knee out into an external rotation. Warrior 3 first. And then turn your chest toward the right side and bring your right arm up into twisted half moon pose. So it's called twisted half moon, but your legs will be exactly like in Warrior 3. You can bend your standing knee slightly so that you feel the external rotation more. And then let's slowly step your back foot down to the floor, hands down to the floor. And then front foot back into plank pose. So now we're going to try the twisted variation on the side plank. You're going to put your right hand in the middle line of your mat, turning yourself to the left side. And this time you're going to keep your left leg on the floor. So bring your right leg up, bring your right knee close, and see if you can hold your hand into the right foot or the right knee. And then slowly bring it to the front of you. And see if you can do this and still externally rotate your shoulder. So you can hold underneath your knee. Yes, yes, very good. And extend your leg. Yes, awesome. Then let's change side. So 1 second is enough for the first time. So here too, let's build up the foundation. First, externally rotate your arm first. Stand with your top leg. Bend your left knee and find your hand. You can hold underneath your knee and do this, or you can hold outside of your foot. So try to lift your hips up all the time. Okay, and then slowly get out of this pose too. Child's pose again, and give yourself some relaxing hands movements. You can squeeze your hands and move around in your wrist. And then let's go to downward facing dog. Stay for a while in down dog. Raise your hips up high. And stand more and more with your legs. So you put less and less weight on your hands. And then lift your left leg up as you inhale. And exhale, bend your knee and step your left foot forward. So now again, support your right hand with the block. Step a bit closer so you can straighten both legs into a pyramid pose. Once you are here, let's turn yourself to the left side and bring your left hand to point up to the sky in twisted triangle pose. What we do here is we try to turn your front knee out, and by doing so you are pulling your left hip back and give you more stretch in the hamstring and outside of your left buttock. And then let's bring your hands down to the floor and step your back foot forward in a forward bend. Inhale halfway up and exhale forward bend. So now you can step on your hands again, or you can hold your elbows and swing around gently. Then we will get out of this pose, slowly stand up. Inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. So stay here again for the Tadasana, mountain pose. And then let's open your feet as wide as your mat and point your feet out and sit down into a yogi squat. Use your arm to open your knees out and look at your feet. Make sure that you have an arc underneath the inside of your feet. Bring your hip lower and raise your chest up so you gain more space in your torso. Take a few more breaths. And then let's sit down to the floor. Let's sit with your legs in front of you. Open your feet a bit wider so you have a space between your legs. Now let's check your back and make sure that your spine is in a neutral position. So your back is raising up straight and you are not rounded. Maybe you need to bend your knees a little bit for that. Inhale, bring your arms up. And exhale, forward bend. So reach forward and hold anything on your legs that you can reach. Your ankle or underneath your knee. Let go of your head and pull with your arms to encourage deeper and deeper forward bend. After a while, you can think of bringing your heels away from your buttock or walking your buttock back so you can straighten your legs and lengthen your hamstring even more. If your head is nowhere near your legs, just stay there. And every time you exhale, maybe you can go a bit deeper. If your face is pretty close to your knees, think of bringing your face forward toward your ankles so you can lengthen even more. And then let's get out of this pose. Raise your head up. Let's walk your hands to the right side and bring both hands behind you. Bend both of your elbows and think of you walking your arms to the back side of your mat to encourage a twist. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Think of you want to keep your hips here, but you want to turn your chest toward the floor behind you. And then let's slowly come back and change side. So walk your hands to the left side and walking your hands, both of them behind you. Bend both of your elbows. And slowly get out of this pose too. Now you can lay down to the floor. We do some gentle twist. Bring your arms to the side. You can bring your right leg on the top of your left leg and bring both of them to the left side. Opening your right arm to the right side and turn your face to the right side too. Try to let go of the control of your body and allow the floor to hold you. And every time you inhale, you can feel the stretch in the side and the chest and the shoulder of your right arm. And let's turn yourself to the center again. Unlock your legs. Bring your hips back to the center and bring your left leg on top of your right leg. Then bring both of them in this shape to the right side. Reach your left arm to the left side and turn your face to the left side too. Whenever you inhale, feel a stretching on your left rib cage, left chest and left shoulders. Then you can come back to the center, unlock your leg and go to Savasana pose. So keep your arms along your body and open your palms up. Let's lift your hands up and move them further away from your shoulders. And do the same with your hips and your heels. Bring your joints further away from each other so that your muscles can expand on the floor. Next time you exhale, allow everything on your body to melt down into the floor. And observe how your breath is cooling down. Everything is slowing down in your body. Let's send awareness to your wrist. So you have been doing side plank and it's already a hard pose, but we even did side plank with only one leg on the floor. So it's a lot of pressure on the wrist. Send some relaxation toward your wrist and tell them to rest. And actually putting pressure on your bones and your joints is quite healthy because it will make them more resistant. You can continue staying here for as long as you want in Savasana, but I'm going to get out of this pose and end the class. So with more and more practice, you would learn how to do the external rotation action on your shoulder and your hips. And it will come to you very naturally, and it will become your new habit. And by doing so, you are bringing the job, you are sharing the load to the big muscles on the back side of your body too. I will see you in the next class, and thank you for today. Namaste. Okay, Molly, you're free. You can continue staying here for as long as you want in Savasana, but I'm going to get out of this pose and end the class. So with more and more practice, you would learn how to do the external rotation action on your shoulder and your hips. And it will come to you very naturally, and it will become your new habit. And by doing so, you are bringing the job, you are sharing the load to the big muscles on the back side of your body too. I will see you in the next class, and thank you for today. Namaste.